So, is there anything you want to achieve and you like to set a goal or set a plan? That's kind of like what I'll be talking about today. Set your goals, make a plan. Um, Before we go far, I'd just like you to pick up a piece of paper right now and a pen, of course. And if there's something you would want to do or achieve, whether now, whether in a couple of weeks, months, um, years, I'd like you to start to itemize them now. Now, it doesn't matter if you have at this moment the resources to achieve those goals. I don't care if you don't have the money for it right now. All I'm asking you to do is write them down. Just note everything down one after the other. And think them through. Don't just I mean, okay, it's fine if you over um, if you dream far, it's fine. Just let's start with that. Note everything down, itemize them 1 to 5, 1 to 10, 1 to whatever. Now, after you've done all that, now don't forget, like I said, it's very important that you ignore the fact that you can achieve those things, or rather it's important that you ignore the fact that you don't have the things to achieve those things at this very moment. Right now we are just dreaming big, we're just noting everything down on a piece of paper, and once you've done that, set it aside and let's start thinking in the direction of those things that we want to achieve. So let's assume you've noted down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 items on a piece of paper of things that you want to achieve, goals that you want to work towards. Now, think of item 1 as getting to the market, perhaps to buy some what now, groceries or something. Let's just say you're trying to get to the market. The goal is to buy 5 kilos of beef. Now, that's the goal. The goal is to get 5 kilos of beef. Now, you know where to get that or how to get that. So definitely the place to get that is obviously the market. And after putting down that goal, the next question is, how do you get to the market? So I'd like you to pick another piece of paper. By the way, this could be it does not have to be a piece of paper. It could be a journal or, even keeps or notes on your mobile phone. Anything you won't misplace. So back to what I was talking about. So if you know that I'm getting this 5 kilos of meat, I have to get to the market to get it. So I'd like you to pick another page or another piece of paper and note down which of the markets or how you're going to get to the market. So we know it's the market, so we're kind of like walking backwards now. So we need to get to the market to achieve that goal of getting 5 kilos of meat, and market is the next step. That's walking backwards, and now this also might be assuming, excuse me, this might be assuming that you already have the money for it, but Let's now say, okay, fine, you do not have money for that meat. So the first thing for you to do is get the money for purchasing such amount of beef. And how do you get money? Perhaps through a salaried job that you do, perhaps through a side gig, perhaps through a grant or a favor from a friend. Um, if it's through any of the jobs you do, you want to stick down or note down how long it's going to take you to earn such amount of money, and you want to basically work towards getting the money. So after noting down the goal, you want to note down if it's money that that it's sort of like prioritized that you need before you get that item or that stuff. Then you want to also note that down. Now, after getting that top priority thing, which in this case might be money, the next thing you want to do is, of course, when you get the money, then you are sort of like empowered to get what you want to get. So the next question is, how do you get to that market? So the market, and getting to the which market rather am I getting that from? Is it near? Is it far? Is it close? You want to decide that, and the next thing from that market is what is going to take you to that market. Are you going by car, by air? I'm just trying to draw up the idea of you building a plan or setting a goal and working it backwards to that very standpoint where you are at this moment. So if you have a goal to achieve in a year's time, you want to make sure that everything you are doing at this very moment builds up to that very goal in a year's time. I would give you a little bit of an instance, and I will be using myself as an example. Many years ago, I started as a 3D artist, and years ago I used to write down a lot of things that I'd like to do, design, achieve, the kind of jobs I want to do, and all that. So I used to have this notebook where I have everything noted or written down, and at that moment it just felt like I was dreaming big, I guess. But it was there, and I kind of like noticed that um, I am walking according, even when I wasn't looking into that book, I was walking in a direction of everything I had noted down. I sometimes would even talk about it with my friend. I used to have this close acquaintance back then that visited me a lot in my place of work and home, and he always did comment that he comes in every once in a while, maybe once in 2 months, once in 3 months, and every time he sees me, he goes like, homie, I mean, it's been a while I've seen you, but you told me you were gonna get this, and you kind of like you walk towards this, and you've gotten it right now. And he has that thing, every now and then. Oh, you told me you were going to get that too. Now you've gotten it, and I kind of like really like the idea that you say you want to do something, and you have your mind set to it, and you try to achieve it. The funny part is, personally, I didn't even think or know that I was doing that. It was something I was just doing over time, perhaps unconsciously. So it was a little bit of a funny thing when many years, 5-10 years later, I got back home. I was trying to clear my stuff, discarding perhaps things I didn't need anymore, and I found this book, and saw all these write-ups and stuff that I thought I would do. Of course, I didn't achieve. A lot has changed over time. I didn't do everything I said I was going to do, but for the better part, I think I did quite a lot of things that I said I would do over time, perhaps in a different, what I say, iteration from what I originally planned, but it was something I did achieve eventually. So, what am I saying? I got to a point where I decided, I wanted to leave my job and I wanted to go into private practice of, the stuff I did with technical stuff, video production, and so on and so forth. I thought I was going to get a camera. Of course, when I was thinking I was going to get a camera, I didn't own enough, or I didn't have enough money to be able to purchase a camera. But I had it in mind, and I started thinking towards it. I started walking towards it, and it sounds funny, but I bought a lens before I purchased the camera. I bought, as a matter of fact, 2 lenses before I got a camera. I bought the first one, got the second one, and eventually I did get a camera with a loan, and the fact is, I got it, and I paid the loan, and I went on to getting more cameras. It just kept on rolling in, like that. So, I'm just saying that, in essence, that sometimes you want to set your goal, no matter how long you think it's gonna take you to achieve it, then start walking backwards backwards to the position where you stand, and start finding ways in which you're going to get to that goal. I know I used the market. Perhaps it didn't quite illustrate well what I'm trying to say, but I'm trying to bring you back to the idea that I'm going to the market, and 10 roads could lead to that market. 10 different roads or paths. Now, I'm trying to say that things could change along the way. Things could get tough. Some roads rather might take you more time to get to that market or get you to your goal. But the thing is, you are still going to the market. You are still going to get what you said you're going to get. And it's better late than never. You want to ensure that when you note that goal down, you start walking towards it however way you choose. Along the way also, you might get advices, suggestions, opinions. You might even learn from other people's experience. You might get on a path and realize that, okay, fine, this path is taking me too long to get me to my destination. And you realize this perhaps personally, or also through other people that you're finding on that same path with you. And based on such advice or knowledge, you'd reposition yourself to get yourself onto another path. The idea of the whole thing is making sure that you stay on on that trajectory, that path, that line of making sure that it's going to take me time. I might iterate this whole thoughts, this whole idea. I might change it a little bit left, right, and center, basically to make it better, and basically to also get you faster to where you need to get to. But make sure that you write everything down and start walking towards it over time. It's highly important to have a plan. You do not want to leave everything to chance. Life isn't like that. You sometimes need to deliberately put some things in action. opportunities sometimes don't just come around. Sometimes it's as a result of something you've been working on over time. Sometimes it's not just it's not gonna happen in out of thin air. It's something you might have somehow unknowingly prepared for. Opportunity just isn't something that just happens. You need to put some things to action. Imagine I for example could learn how to speak French, and I'm working in a company where for some reason suddenly they're looking for someone that could translate um, um, the language, and the person is going to be paid this huge sum of money. Now, in that position, of course, nobody was employed that understood or that understands the language, and you go like, hey, I mean, I could do that, and I'm gonna get paid for it, right? And tomorrow you would forget that you have the plan, or you thought that you would learn the language, and you did go out to learn the language, and suddenly it became a thing. It became useful. You go like, oh, I heard they needed a translator, and I just stepped up. I'm like, oh, I understand the language, I could do the job. And that's how the opportunity came to me. Now it's an opportunity because you had learned it. If you did not learn it, when they ask for, when they're looking for who understands the language, you would have nothing to offer. Absolute nothing. So you do not want to leave everything to chance. You want to be very deliberate about your journey. Of course, there are things that will happen by chance, and that's I think that's life, that's nature, that's the universe doing its thing. But I would buttress, or I would reiterate, that you do not want to leave everything to chance. You want to be very deliberate in your actions, in your with your journey in life. You want to try as much as possible to walk in a path of of a planned journey, if I may, if that makes any sense. Make a plan, set a goal. Do you want to travel the world by a certain age? Then you probably want to start working some type of job so that you can save some type of money, or some amount of money, just so that you can take time off work and do those travels. Or perhaps you also want to find out how those travels would make you money, just so that you can keep traveling, and you're also able to pay your bills. You just want to be able to rope everything into a deliberate action to get you to a desired point in life, or a desired you want to get to an age where you want to tell yourself that I am fulfilled. I have set this goal. I have thought that I would do this. I have worked towards it, and now I have achieved.